You see him in the ring at this time, called Crazy Luke Graham. And like he'll be going up against Marvin Turner. We'll be waiting now for that bell to ring. So this then is a one fall with the time remaining. There's the bell. Crazy Luke Graham going up against Marvin Turner. Luke Graham brings him back into the ropes. The referee calls for the break. So, rare opportunity to see Luke Graham in action against Turner. Again, the referee calling for the break. They're into the ropes. Turner now with a side headlock. Has Graham trapped. Graham pulls him into the ropes. The referee then calls for the break. Graham catching him on the break. All right, Graham steps back. Turner trying to clear himself now. Moving away, circling now. Moves in once again. Into a hammerlock by Luke Graham. He wings it. Notice now, front face locking while they had the hammerlock into the ropes. Turner firing away on the break now, and I can't say that I blame him. And it's Graham going for the throat of Turner. Has him over that second rope, finally breaks it just before the count. And it is Turner still trapped in that far turnbuckle. And this man, Graham, of course, a member of the famous Graham wrestling family. Turner has not been able to move very effectively against Luke Graham. Graham continually on the move against this man, continually aggressive. I just mentioned, of course, our crew today. On cameras, Craig Robertson, Ron Sutton, and Henry Matthews. On video, Ron Jeter. On videotape, Ernie Watts and Leo Harris. On audio, Cynthia Tyler. My director is Dick Dodson. Thanks to all of them for outstanding work with us each week here on Georgia Championship Wrestling. Seen nationwide on Super 17. Luke Graham has a foot in the ropes. You can see he's pointing to the referee. Hold it back down, and it is Graham coming out of it now. Graham is a strange, strange individual. Graham now slowly and systematically trying to destroy this man, Marvin Turner. Again, using those forearms very, very effectively. Turner on those ring ropes, now moving away, circling. Squares up, collar and elbow once again. Graham backs him into the turnbuckle. Again, the referee calls for the break. He catches him with the knee on the break. Turner, hurdle into the near turnbuckle. Graham, a foot to the chest of Marvin Turner. Again, the referee having to warn Graham for his tactics. He's a hard man to communicate with. Again, the referee moving.
This has been the Best of Championship Wrestling, sanctioned by the NWA. The announcers on this program are employed by Georgia Championship Wrestling Incorporated. Join your host, Freddie Miller, next week for another edition of the Best of Championship Wrestling.
Again, Graham moves in, boots to the chest. Into those ring ropes, and it is Turner having a lot of trouble getting up now. Turner firing to the midsection of Graham had little or no effect. Now whips him into the turnbuckle. Turner comes charging in as he does. Graham catches him with a knee. He's crashing down across the chest. Now Graham brings him up high into an atomic knee drop. Graham down across in a lateral press, and it is all over for Marvin Turner. And Ray Stevens defending the title.
He is nothing but a little short-legged freak, a pencil-neck geek with a little pea head and a lousy physique. And any time he wants to get in the ring with the greatest all-round athlete of all time, yours truly, the universal heartthrob, Austin Idol, I will show him and show everybody in TV land exactly what Wrestling 2 looks like, because I will be the first to take the hood off of Wrestling 2 and show everybody the ugly face and the nasty look in the hair lip that he's got. And by the way, where's this great Tony Atlas at? Huh? I'm sure he's somewhere on crutches right now. And I understand this big baboon Ray Candy's back. Anytime Ray Candy wants a piece of me, darling, I'll show you how to clip his wings. You're looking at the greatest of all time right here.
Well, let me ask you this. Friday night, you're taking on a tag team partner.
Hey, I know this Buzz Sawyer and this Field Schmeals or whatever. I know they're trying to make names for themselves. Everybody is in the wrestling profession. But they're trying to make names by going through the wrong people. There's no way, no possible way that these two bums, these two wet-nosed kids, could beat the Idol and my partner, Bobby Jaggers. And there's one other thing I want to say right now. I'm going to be there to see what happens with Killer Carl Cox and Tommy Rich. And for all you Carrollton folks, the Heartthrob will be there tonight.
Match will be one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from Brownsville, Tennessee, weighing in at 240 pounds, Carl Fergie. His opponent from Great Falls, Montana, weighing in at 222 pounds, BRET HART.
BRET HART going up against Carl Fergie, and Hart has an injured left knee, as you can tell. He's favoring that leg. Outstanding young wrestler, but of course the knees are one of the critical points. I guess really in any professional sport, this is the knee or the ankle is one thing that every athlete fears injury in. Lock up, collar, and elbow. It'll be interesting to see how Fergie mounts his attack on Hart, whether or not he goes for that knee. Fergie tying up the arm of BRET HART. Hart, good takedown. Hart, one of 12 children. He is a second-generation wrestler. You remember he and Buzz Sawyer wrestled to a draw. An outstanding match here on Georgia Wrestling. Pleasure to see my good friend R.T. Williams here watching the matches today from the Sports Arena here at Channel 17. And it is Hart keeping the side headlock on Carl Fergie into a hip lock takedown. Hart, who has changed his methodology considerably thus far in the match. He has taken a very defensive stance. He's been letting Fergie come to him and hoping that Fergie will make the mistake. And, of course, that is one excellent theory in wrestling. Let your opponent move in, and sometimes the deeper in he gets, the more trouble he's in. All right. He's out of it. Hard moving. Fergie fires in the midsection. Hart drops to both knees. Snapmare, but Hart comes out of it before the count of 3. Fergie moves in, ties him up once again. Back to their feet once again. And it's Hart trying to power out of that front face lock. Hart battling, trying to get out of it. And it is Hart. Brought back into it as Fergie gets some extra leverage that time. Being warned by the referee for his tactic. got that extra leverage that time, forced to break it. Fergie with a forearm to the side of the jaw of Bret Hart. Fergie maintaining the front face lock. And it's Hart coming out, full arm drag and twist. Hart adding more punishment now to Carl Fergie. Fergie in the orange trunks, caught on that arm drag and twist. Fergie went to the midsection, trying to break that hold if he can. Hart now with a step over on the arm. Bears down on him, and so Fergie has some problems now. Bret Hart, who is a provincial champion in Canada in amateur wrestling, this point in time has Fergie in trouble. Fergie still on the canvas. Hart continues to punish the left arm of Carl Fergie. So Hart's strategy becoming apparent here. Fergie goes for the midsection and whips Hart into the far turnbuckle, and Hart could be in trouble again. Hart comes off, caught again. Powers out as Fergie's beginning to press that advantage. And Hart has got problems because he does not have that much lateral movement. Fergie again closing in on Bret Hart. Young man who now makes his home in Great Falls, Montana. Arm whips Fergie into that far turnbuckle, catches him a hard, blasting right hand. Using the flat of the foot to the midsection, catches him again. The side of the face, Fergie back on his feet. Hart catches him a good flying drop kick. Hart catches him with another good flying drop kick, and Fergie has got to be in trouble here. Hart, well-executed backdrop. Hart comes across, cross-body block. Well, a fine victory for Bret Hart under certainly adverse circumstances, but I must give Carl Fergie a note of appreciation, too, in the manner in which he conducted himself in that match. He did not go for that obvious injury of Bret Hart, but an outstanding match, and I think certainly a tribute to a young man like Bret Hart, who took on that kind of a situation and did so extremely well with it. Take a moment right now. I want to talk to Ole Anderson, Tommy Rich, and Stan Hansen. At this point in time, three of the most popular wrestlers in the state today.
I'll tell you what, we got a couple of bruises, a couple of scars on all of us, and we all know what it's like to be in there in battle. Some of the guys like Ladd, Cox, Mr. Heenan. Of course, Heenan, he's got a real unique situation. He doesn't often get his trunks on. He just stands there all tidied up with his little bow tie looking nice and neat. But it seems he invariably gets involved some way in a match. You never can prove it sometimes, but he's got his little sneaky ways. There's always different ways, they say, to skin a cat. And if you take a look, Tommy was saying, how in the world can I manage to have a match and keep that weasel Heenan out of it? Well, there's a lot of possibilities. Maybe you could stick him in a cage. Maybe you could tie his legs together. Maybe you could just stuff his mouth full of cotton and put him over in the back seat of the building someplace. But there's better ways. And I think we've got a better way. And very, very shortly, we're going to let everybody know what it is. Because at the auditorium on Friday night, when Tommy Rich is out there defending his Georgia tag title, his Georgia heavyweight title, against that TV title that Carl Cox has got, to make sure that Bobby Heenan doesn't interfere. Bobby Heenan isn't going to do anything in that match except observe. I'm going to put one end of this handcuff on my wrist, and I'm going to take the other end of the handcuffs, and I'm going to put it over Bobby Heenan's wrist. And if that Bobby Heenan tries to go anywhere, I'm going to jerk his butt right back and put him right in that chair and wrap him upside of the head with that chain if I have to.
You know, that's exactly right. You know, I never thought I'd be standing out here with Ole Anderson. But come Friday night, the man's going to be in my corner, and I know Heenan ain't going nowhere. I got 15 minutes to get that Georgia title, and I'm coming dead after. You know, I talked to the Crusher, Gordon, and he guaranteed me.
Going to put it right on him Friday night. It's coming down. Get ready, Superstar. The Lariat against the Cobra Friday night. And you people in Carrollton, get ready. Carrollton. Tonight, Carrollton, and we're...
There you have it. That's the former Georgia heavyweight champion.
Yeah, I don't like the situation of being called former anything. There's a lot of hot air going around. There's a lot of individuals standing out here ranting and raving and selling and yelling and screaming and making a lot of noise. Well, fellas, I'm going to state a few things very calmly. I've got the money. I've got $3,000. If you want me, you come after me. I'm not going to hide. Now, there's Ole Anderson, Stan Hansen, Tommy Rich, Tony Atlas, Ray Candy's even back, and I even see the old thorn on my side wrestling too showing his face. Well, fellas, I'm going to issue a challenge to you. You're all yelling about competition. You're all yelling about this is the area. This is the best wrestling in the world. And you're looking at the man. I'm not a former anything. I'm a champion. I don't have to prove a thing to anybody, but I'm going to get back to the point that I like. I'm going to start hurting people. I'm going to start doing the things that I do best, going through people. Doesn't matter who it is, I'm coming right down your throat.
Well, first of all, let me just point out that tonight you will be at the Parkview High School in Mountain Park competing, and there will be wrestling, of course, every Friday night in Knoxville at the Civic Coliseum. And don't forget, wrestling coming to Decula in the very near future. And, of course,
Friday night's the big night. Friday night, Stan Hansen and myself are going to get involved in a battle. I'm not going to run you down, Stan Hansen, because you're tough. But I've got to prove something to you, I guess. The Lariat hold versus the Cobra. Well, Stan Hansen, Friday night, you're going to go to sleep, and you're going to sleep for a long time.
This special match is a title match for the Georgia Tag Team Championship. One fall with a TV time limit. One team now entering the ring, weighing in at 287 pounds, the Superstar. His partner from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 315 pounds, co-holder of the tag belt, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, with their manager, Pretty Boy, Bobby Heenan. Their opponent from Gordon, Texas, weighing in at 320 pounds, Stan the Lariat Hansen. His partner from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 249 pounds, co-holder of the belt, Ole Anderson.
this is it. The Georgia Tag Team Championship on the line now. Stan Hansen and Ole Anderson on one side. Ernie the Cat Ladd and the Superstar on the other side. Ernie Ladd holding one belt, Ole Anderson holding the other. And wait a minute, we've got things underway here. And the Superstar very quickly leaving the ring area. And Ernie Ladd deposited on the opposite side.
The belts right now because we're going to win both of the belts right here, right? Hey, get in your hand and tell them we're going to get both of these belts right now. They want a brawl and we're going to get better than this. So what are we going to do with the belts today? You are looking at the new Georgia Tag Team Champions, and it's not going to take him and the Superstar very long. So turn your dial up right now. You're going to see the end of Ole Anderson and Hansen. Ole Anderson has talked and pushed his weight around for the last time.
All right. We've heard the comments, and Mr. Heenan making some very, very, well, I would have to say overconfident remarks. And some quick strategy being discussed now, as you can see, between the Superstar and Ernie Ladd. The Georgia Tag Team Championship on the line, an unprecedented situation wherein on the opposing teams you have the co-holders of the title. But this will decide it. The Superstar against Ole Anderson, collar and elbow. Anderson tried to go for a full body slam, was blocked by the Superstar, and now he makes the tag with Stan Hansen. Hansen moves in. Hansen, the side headlock on the Superstar. Superstar trying to roll him into a pinning combination. And it is Stan Hansen keeping the side headlock. Hansen, the master of the lariat, the superstar, master of the cobra hold. And it is Ole Anderson driving a hard right hand into the side of the rib cage. Brings the superstar up a full body slam. And he's after the mask. He's trying to get that mask off on the superstar. Escapes from the ring. And the referee warning Anderson, the superstar, moves back into the ring. And you can hear the crowd picking it up. We want the mask. And they meet once again, and a tag was made. Stan Hansen moves in. Anderson keeping him tied up. And it's Ernie Ladd tagging up with a superstar. Ernie the Cat Ladd. Hansen firing back now. Ladd staggered that time into the rope. Ladd smashed into the turnbuckle. Ladd into the foot of Ole Anderson. Hansen makes the tag, then blocks Ladd from getting over to his corner. Ole Anderson catches Ladd from behind now. Anderson keeping him tied up. And Bobby Heenan, a very, very concerned individual. All right, you saw there Heenan pulling Ladd's foot into the ropes, forcing the break. That's the thing about Bobby Heenan. He is invaluable as an ally outside the ring to his team. Whether you're watching these matches in Fort Pierce, Florida, or Fort Smith, Arkansas, I can assure you that you're seeing the very, very finest in wrestling competition. But when you have the opportunity to see matches live in your area, we invite you to do so. Ladd hung up on those ropes. Ernie Ladd hung up on those ropes, and it is Ole Anderson and Stan Hansen administering all the punishment they can, seizing this opportunity, and Ladd continues to be hung up in those top ropes. Referee trying to separate those ropes now. Ladd finally extricates himself from the ropes with the aid of the referee. Ladd brought into the ring, snap-mared. Tag is made. Stan Hansen comes in. Remember, the Georgia Tag Team Championship on the line. Double teaming on Ernie Ladd. Hansen crashes down across the chest. A near fall, a near pin for Stan Hansen. All right, Hansen now. It appears to be a rear chin lock on Ernie Ladd. Ladd makes the tag with a superstar. Superstar smashes Hansen into the turnbuckle. Snap-mares him to the canvas. Drives that knee into the chest. Hansen powers out before the count of 3, however. Hansen in reverse there. The superstar catches him in the midsection. Comes down. Hansen makes the tag. Ole Anderson moves in. And it's Anderson letting out all stops as time is rapidly running out. Time rapidly running out, and Ole Anderson, Anderson caught in the pit of the stomach that time. Anderson has to be in a lot of trouble. Tag is made. Ernie Ladd moves in. The superstar keeping him tied up, and now it is Ladd crashing down across the chest of Ole Anderson. Time rapidly going out. Ole Anderson off the ropes. Caught a high backdrop. And as Ladd came down that time, moves Anderson out of the way, making a tag with Stan Hansen. Hansen, a boot to the heart, one to the midsection. Ladd powered off the ropes. Ladd caught high backdrop. Ladd in a lot of trouble. Hansen down across him again into a lateral press. And a count of 2. Ladd came out before the count of 3. Ladd makes the tag with the Superstar. Red hot competition. The Georgia Tag Team Championship on the line. Neither team thus far able to gain a pinfall. Wow, he caught him. That has to be... No, sir, he came out of it. Snapmare that takes him to the canvas. Again, the Superstar in there with Stan Hansen now. Hansen whipped off those ropes. The Superstar misses it. Hansen catches him a beautiful, beautiful shoulder. No, sir, not the count of 3. No count of 3, and Hansen again pounding away. And these men have thrown out the rule books now. The rule book is gone. And we've got a Pier 6 brawl going on. Our time limit has expired. Neither team able to gather a pinfall. Neither team able to get a submission hold. And so the battle rages on. They continue to battle. Wait a minute. Tom Sapp just came in and caught him. Hansen now Sapp catches Ole Anderson. Anderson drops to the canvas. And our time continues to fly. And Sapp continues to pound away, the referee ringing the bell. We still have bedlam and chaos in the ring now. Anderson being pummeled and beaten now by Tom Sapp, and our time is completely gone.
The announcers on this...
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to another hour of Georgia Championship Wrestling. During this next hour, we're going to see what happened when we ran out of time in another program regarding the Georgia Tag Team Championship. We'll be having that in our ringside wrestling profile later on. You know, everybody is still sort of amazed at the situation with the Georgia heavyweight champion, Tommy Rich, and apparently nobody took him seriously last week when he said he wanted those names put in a hat, and he'd be glad to defend the championship right here on television. And Tommy,
You know, Mr. Heenan, he's out here running around, you know, he's talking about, you know, that I was just full of bull or whatever. Well, Mr. Heenan, just like I told you, the offer still stands, the Georgia title. You know, just like I said, I'm a champion for the people. You know, without the people of Georgia, without all the people giving me the support that they did, I don't feel I'd be a champion. And to be a real champion, I think you got to put the belt on the line at any time. And if I can't win the match, I don't deserve the belt. So, Heenan, you get Cox, Superstar, any one of your men ready that you want to go against me, because right here I am, and just like I said, I'll put the belt on the line right here on TV.
Well, there you heard it from Tommy Rich, the Georgia heavyweight champion. He is more than willing and more than happy to put that Georgia heavyweight championship on the line here on TV. Well, Mr. Heenan has just come up.
You see how that yellow coward took off when he saw me coming? Sure, he's made the statement he'll wrestle anybody. He knows Cox is dressed not to wrestle but in street clothes. He knows the Superstar is another commitment. He knows all these other guys have other dates and bookings, the people he challenged. Tommy Rich, you're trying to pull a con job on myself and the rest of the people. But we know you. We know you for what you are. You're yellow, and you don't deserve to have the Georgia championship. But I'll tell you something, punk, and you get this straight, because it's coming right from me. Next week on television, you're going to have an opponent. You're going to have one of my family. I'm not going to mention who it is, but Tommy Rich, if you still got that belt, next week at this time, you won't have it. So you shine it up all week if you're lucky enough to retain it. You make sure that belt looks the best it's ever looked, because next Saturday, if you're still champion, it's all over for you. It's going to come right down to that. I'm tired of cheap talk. I'm tired of guys saying things that aren't true. It's going to happen right in this ring right here. But did you notice how that coward took off?
Indeed. I think Tommy Rich had concluded everything he wanted to say, but there you have it. So, Bobby Heenan has answered that challenge, and apparently Tommy Rich will be defending the Georgia Heavyweight Championship, if indeed he is still champion, next Saturday here on Championship Wrestling. We'll be back with our first match in just a moment.
Ball with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from Dunlap, Kansas, weighing in at 270 pounds, Dynamite Bobby Jaggers. Jaggers. His opponent from Miami, Florida, weighing in at 212 pounds, Mike Fever. Mike Fever. Referee is Tommy Weathers.
Dynamite Bobby Jaggers going up against Fever. Fever in the white trunks. One fall, 10-minute time limit. Austin Idol is...
Tell me this is the only microphone you have out here?
That's the only one we need, sir.
You know, ever since the Idol has come to this area, it has thrown the entire Georgia area, not only the Georgia area, but the entire country into Idol mania. Idol mania is fastly sweeping the country, darling. Fastly sweeping the country. As a matter of fact, I'm getting letters from everybody. I'm getting love letters from thousands of women weekly. I'm getting the hate mail from thousands of men every week. The men are saying, Austin Idol, why are you doing this to us? Why are you wrecking our homes? Why are you tearing our wives away from us? Why are you tearing our fiancés away from us? Why are you tearing our girlfriends away from us? And the women are coming to me and say, Austin, we're going to our beauty parlor this week. We're going to get the most expensive hairdo that we can get. We're going to get manicures. We're going to get pedicures. We're going to look so pretty. So we come to see you. Whatever night it is, we'll be looking our very, very best. And you have to look the best if you want to have one possibility, one chance of getting one sweet, sexy kiss from the sultry lips that I only possess. Look at Bobby Jaggers here. He's doing this man in, isn't he?
Well, thank you very much. Austin Idol making some comments here. Meanwhile, Dynamite Bobby Jaggers with a rear chin lock on Mr. Fever. Fever in the white trunks, in trouble out there against Jaggers. Jaggers exceptionally powerful, a very dangerous man in the ring. Referee checking with Fever to see if he wants to concede.
Well, Sully, I got a telegram from a woman in Macon, Georgia the other day, and she says she owns a beauty shop. And she said, Austin Idol, ever since you made your first appearance on Georgia Championship Wrestling, that my business has not only doubled, has not only tripled, but it has quadrupled. And there's not a single day that goes by that I don't get 30, 40, 50 appointments. Women call me all the time and saying, we've got to get in to get our hair done. We don't care how much it costs. We don't care how long we have to wait in line. We don't care what the circumstances are. We have to get in and make sure that we're going to look pretty to come see the Idol, the heartthrob.
Indeed. More of the modest remarks of Austin Idol. And it is Fever still in trouble in the ring now as Jaggers continues to dominate the situation. A short chopping punch to the side of the jaw.
You know, I'd like to know where some of these so-called stars are at, you know. I signed a contract there that I would wrestle anybody that I thought that was worthy of wrestling on television. Wrestling number 2, the Tony Atlas. What happened to Tony Atlas, by the way? Where is Atlas? I don't see him around here anymore.
No, he had a previous commitment today, otherwise he would have been here.
I'm sure he did have a previous commitment with the doctor, seeing about his knee, right? What happened to his leg, Sully?
Well, he does have an injury. There's no question about that.
What is the most devastating hold of all the wrestling?
Well, there are several. I would hesitate to pinpoint just one particular hold.
What hold did Jack Briscoe use to win the world's heavyweight title?
Well, the Eddie Graham figure 4 leg lock.
And what hold did Buddy Rogers use to win the world's heavyweight title?
Well, the figure 4, yes.
And what hold does Eddie Graham and Mike Graham use for about the last 10 years to keep them in the top 10 contention of heavyweight wrestlers?
Obviously, once again, the figure 4, yes, sir.
That's exactly right. That's why the figure 4 leg lock, the Las Vegas leg lock, that Austin Idol uses and uses better than anybody else, and I don't care what you say, is truly, without a doubt, the most devastating hold in all of wrestling, and I don't care who it is that I get it on. I don't care if it's wrestling number 2. I don't care if it's Tony Atlas. I don't care if it's Dusty Rhodes. I don't care if it's Bruno Sammartino. I don't care if it's Terry Funk. I don't care if it's Dory Funk. I don't care if it's Pat Patterson. I don't care if it's Gorilla Monsoon. I don't care if it's Ole Anderson. I don't care if it's Gene Anderson. I don't care if it's Charlie Lay. I don't care who it is. But when I put that Las Vegas leg lock on whoever it is, there's no possible way that they can get out of that hold. It is impossible. And the only question is if I want to break the leg.
I think you've made your point abundantly clear. It was
there it is right there.
Catching him, Mr. Jaggers, hooking his man. A count of 3. And much of that match, of course, is dominated by the comments of Austin Idol.
You know what amazes me? You get a man like Ole Anderson. You get a person like Tommy Rich, Stan Hansen, They're supposed to be the epitome of professional wrestling in your eyes and a lot of people's. But what do? They get in the ring and they kick and they punch, they pull hair, and they do whatever they want to do, and then these humanoids sit around and cheer them on. Just because we kick, we pull hair, and we kick a guy a little bit harder than they do, and we're the first to do it, we get chastised for it. We're the ones that are supposed to be the bad-looking people in their eyes. But let me tell you something. I'm tired of being criticized. I'm tired of Ole Anderson getting everything he wants. I'm tired of Tommy Rich walking around here with that bell on saying he's the Georgia heavyweight champion. Very, very soon, Tommy Rich, your reign as champion is going to come to a blistering halt. And Ole Anderson, you and your brother and everybody else are going to spend a lot of time convalescing. Can you imagine Friday night the audacity of Ole Anderson being handcuffed to me? Let me get this. 2 pieces of handcuff and a chain. I'm no animal. I'm no convict. I don't belong chained like this. Do you think it's fair?
I think
I don't think it's fair at all.
situation is entirely
Yeah,
serious.
there's going to be a lot of fur fight. I'm going to sit back after my match with Stan Hansen. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch Ole Anderson and his brother, the Minnesota Bum Crew, get torn apart. And Stan Hansen, I'm not going to stand out here and I'm not going to run you down. As a matter of fact, I'm going to build you up. You're a competent wrestler. You're very tough. The lariat hold's very superior. But I think I'm better. I think the Cobra hold is much better. There's only one way to prove it, Stan. And Friday night, I'm going to prove it to you.
Let me tell
Thank you very
one
much.
more important thing. Ole Anderson, you think you got me now, and I'm always one step ahead of you.
Tonight, right there in Lowburn at Parkview High School, I'm going to start messing over some people. I want all of you people to be there because I'm going to hurt somebody.
Moving out here are 2 gentlemen that certainly are no strangers to any of you. The Georgia heavyweight champion, Tommy Rich, and the bad man from Borger, Texas himself, Stan Hansen.
You know, that's right, Gordon. You know, a lot of things are coming around. A lot of people are trying to prove. You got the golden squeeze. You got the figure 4 Las Vegas leg lock that, you know, you got the Cobra and you got the lariat. A lot of holes around here everybody's trying to prove. Well, I'm the one guy that doesn't have to prove nothing because I'll put my lariat up against anybody anytime. Whether it be Sterling Golden, whether it be that Austin Idol, or whether it be Superstar. Killer Carl Cox has got the brain buster. I'd just like to get a chance to get any of them in the ring and strap that lariat on it because I believe that it can get the job done.
Well, there's no question about that, Tommy.
You know, it's just like Stan said, you know, Austin Idol, he's come out here with a figure 4 leg lock, calling himself the universal heartthrob. Well, I've seen a few signs that the ladies have up calling him the universal hemorrhoid. You know, so, you know, he's come here trying to set everything on fire. Then you got Bobby Heenan and Killer Carl Cox. You know, they think they're bad. You know, last night here in Atlanta, they hit me upside the head with a belt. Cox brain busted me, but I'm still here, Cox. I'm still here, and you ain't going to run me out of Georgia. You know, there's a whole lot of things happening. And right here in Atlanta, Georgia, Friday night, Ole Anderson, he's going to be handcuffed to Mr. Killer Carr, to Mr. Bobby Heenan. Excuse me, I'm so, you know, right there, boy, I'm so psyched up. You know, right there's the cuss. It's going to be Cox and myself, and I'm coming dead after you, Cox, for the Georgia TV title. The TV title versus the Georgia heavyweight belt, and I'm coming after it all, Cox, Friday night.
That's right. It's going to be Friday night. Is also going to be the lariat against the Cobra. But there's a lot of other things going to be going on. You heard Tommy talking about them. But these handcuffs right here, Bobby Heenan, you're going to have to be handcuffed to Ole Anderson to be sure that Tommy gets a fair shake. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of things are going on, Gordon. And I'm going to be down there at the auditorium Friday night going after that Cobra with my lariat.
Thank you so very much, Stan Hansen. We'd like to remind you,
Carrollton tonight.
there will be wrestling in Carrollton tonight. Also tonight at Parkview High School Gym in Mountain Park. Tomorrow night in Marietta. And, of course, next Friday night in Knoxville at the Civic Coliseum. And Saturday, November 24th in Cornelia. A lot of good action coming up.
This match will be 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from New Orleans, Louisiana, weighing in at 270 pounds, Dave Bruno. Dave Bruno. His opponent from Nashville, Tennessee, weighing in at 232 pounds, the Georgia heavyweight champion, Wildfire, Tommy Rich. Tommy Rich.
Dave Bruno going up against Tommy Rich. 1 fall, 10-minute time limit. Nice to have with us today the Riverdale American League Cowboys. Nice to have them along with us today. That's the Riverdale American League Cowboys. Rich, the takedown quickly goes into the arm. Drop toe hold by Tommy Rich into a float over. Front chancery now on Bruno. Once again, Tommy Rich catching him with a side headlock. Off the ropes. Rich caught him. Good shoulder smash. Catches him again. Bruno upended twice there. Taken to the canvas once again. Well-executed hip lock takedown, but he's got his leg into the rope. The referee calls for the break. Bobby Heenan and Killer Carl Cox watching this match with a great deal of interest. Rich keeping Bruno tied up with that side headlock. Bruno trying to take some advantage there, and it is Rich keeping that side headlock. Bruno trying to break it if he can. All right. Tommy Rich, the Georgia heavyweight champion. Back on his feet, so is Bruno. You can hear the shouting of Killer Carl Cox and Bobby Heenan trying to give Bruno some advice. Bruno brings him up. Beautiful move by this man, Bruno, and Rich comes out of it, but this man, Bruno, is... Ooh, Bruno caught in the midsection, moving in. Bruno caught again by Rich. And now Rich unleashing all of his artillery. Backdrop by Tommy Rich. Bruno coming up slowly. Tommy Rich whips him off. Beautiful flying drop kick by Tommy Rich. Into the spinning toe hold. The spinning toe hold. He puts it on him and it's all over. So Tommy Rich, the Georgia heavyweight champion, in an excellent match there against Dave Bruno, and defeated the man. With me right now is Ernie Ladd, and to my left, a newcomer to Georgia Championship Wrestling, Tom Shaft.
Fist up here, Shaft.
Hold 15 inches. Hold 15 inches of nothing but a notchy bone knockout drag down. Let me tell you something. Tom Shaft, I fought in all the others. I've fought in rings, I've fought everywhere. I'm here to fight. Everybody want to fight. Wrestler, non-wrestler. I'm not getting anybody out. One particular person, you everybody know who he is. I don't want to say nothing about him too much now, but the people know exactly who he is and who he's going to be. Tom Boogaloo Shaft, I truly am that man that walked that Bow Wow fair. 35,000 miles barefooted. I still don't care. I stopped riding with bread. I brought it down to win. I ended up to pick up the blue kid and locked out 9,000 bucks out. Got 16 rolls of Dodgy. Look at this.
Put it on him, show him, Shaft, show him, Shaft. Show him, Shaft. Give him one big punch, the big one, the big one.
Well,
oh, that's
all right, what about this coming Friday night, sir?
Come Friday night, Ole Anderson will go down and not come back. I just feel sorry for Gene Anderson because the mighty Shaft is going to put the deadly blow to Ole egg-sucking dog's head. Ole scum egg-sucking dog Anderson. Shut up out there. Turncoat Anderson. I recruited this man just for a special knockout. A special knockout. A special knockout. That's all I want to say. I'm going to tell you people out in TV land, you probably missed the two biggest events of your life. The birth of your mother and the birth of your father. So whatever you do, don't miss the third big event when the mighty Shaft disassembles Ole Anderson's head. Earlier today, he was jabbing him, had him on Dream Street, Ole Anderson didn't know where he was.
Well, we're going to find out this coming Friday night in Atlanta at the Atlanta City Auditorium.
The word is
said at the beginning of the program, of course, during our ringside wrestling profile, we're going to take a look at the incidents that occurred during and after the Georgia Tag Team Championship match. And to bring you all that information right now, here's my good friend, Freddie Miller.
Thank you very much, Gordon. And, of course, the heart of the controversy, let's bring out a man who's causing tremendous comments all over this country right now. Let's bring out Ole Anderson, who will be the subject of today's personality profile at ringside. So if we can, Ole, if you would, here is Ole Anderson. Well, fans are with you, and, of course, frankly, Ole, what happened? You got to just fill us in from your point of view about this incident that occurred just recently on television.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, it's amazing, I guess, to me that sometimes even I forget how people can be. I know how Ernie Ladd hates me now, and I know he's called me the egg-sucking dog, and he's got somebody apparently on his side, one of his brothers, to help him. I guess sometimes, like happened to me in the past, things just don't get done unless you do them yourself, and they don't get done until somebody is finally down. You put a couple of nuts on my head. People have seen me before. They see the teeth out of my head. They see the scars on my body, and I've been chewed up a lot of times. Well, Ernie Ladd, Tom Shaft, Superstar, Carl Cox, Bobby Heenan, none of those people are going to stop Ole Anderson just by putting a couple of nuts on his head. The only way that you're going to stop me is if you have to come to my funeral, and then you know I'm 6 feet under. Because if you stop me, you stop the people. If you stop Atlanta, you might stop me, but you're not going to do that. You're not going to stop Georgia, and you sure as hell aren't going to stop a bunch of people that are around here. And you're not going to stop Ole Anderson either. Now, they're talking about they got something there. They got a match with the Anderson brothers, or part of it, I guess.
Before that, Ole, I'd like to show a little bit about what happened during that incident, though, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, show that.
I'd like the fans to see it. We don't have time for a great deal of it, but here's just some of the moments in case you missed it. Ole Anderson in action. There was a Georgia Tag Team title match, Ole and Stan Hansen against the Superstar and Ernie Ladd. Let's see what happened.
Wait a minute. Tom Shaft just came in and caught Hansen. Now it's Shaft. Catches Ole Anderson. Anderson drops to the canvas, and our time continues to fly. And Shaft continues to pound away, the referee ringing the bell. We still have bedlam and chaos in the ring now. Anderson being pummeled and beaten now by Tom Shaft, and our time is completely gone.
And you know, this happened right after the match. That Shaft, you know, has a reputation as a tremendous boxer and fighter, a real brawler, Ole.
Oh, no question about it. You take a look, he had a tremendous right hand. I've been hit by a lot of doggone people, and nobody's knocked me. Just that guy just knocked me silly. I was dizzy for a couple of seconds in there, and, well, as you can see here, it doesn't look too pretty. I don't like it. I don't like being down. I don't like anybody knocking me down. But I heard about Shaft. I know about him. He's got a tremendous right hand. He's a terrific puncher when he was boxing, and he hasn't forgotten how to punch now that he's wrestling. I don't know what in the world you do with a guy like that. I guess you got to do a little bit of ducking, and you got to do a lot of fighting, a lot of kicking, and a lot of gouging. But certainly, Ole Anderson is no stranger to those type of tactics. I've shown people before that I can fight in any kind of a situation.
Oh, yeah.
I think, in fact, that they ought to take a look. I made sure I wanted Tom Shaft, I wanted Ernie Ladd and Cox. I wanted all those people to take a look. Because it's been a while since I've been teamed with my brother, but the things have gotten so out of hand now that something has got to be done. And I asked Gene, drop whatever you're doing, come on out. Let's get the Anderson brothers back together again. Maybe that's what Georgia needs. The Anderson brothers together again. I want you to just take a look. I got a little thing here, about 30 seconds, showing the Anderson brothers.
You were the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. You were also World Tag Team Champions, Ole. So let's go back to that moment. Here are the Minnesota Wrecking Crew in action, Ole and Gene Anderson.
The Fujiani and Tiger Conway. I think they may have something to say about this.
Ole now, he's looks like he's just going to pay back Fujiani for what they were doing to Gene's arm. He's gone right to his left arm.
Well, keep in mind, too, Bob, they don't have that third member of the team with them like they had up until last week that Ole was wearing.
He cut him off from the corner again and up hard to the stem, one of the arm. Well, the wrestling fans are legion around the world, and they have watched the Andersons for these many, many months now. And they have just got to be the top tag team in the world right now. Even without that cast.
Well, it is certainly amazing how many tag teams who have adhered strictly to the NWA rules have started adopting some of the tactics of the Anderson.
He's going to put him away. Ole Anderson quickly ends the battle as the Minnesota Wrecking Crew pins Dr. Fujiani, and there they are, fans, the World Tag Team Champions, Gene and Ole Anderson.
The Minnesota Wrecking Crew, of course, you were World Tag Team Champions, and the fact you've called Gene back, it's a time now where you need somebody you can really depend on and count on in your confrontations with this group.
You know, there's an awful lot of people that I can count on. It's an unusual situation for me now. When I look for a partner, I got a lot of partners. I got Stan Hansen, if I can use him or if I need him. Even Tommy Rich, we've shook hands now, and I apologize to Tommy, but I know he's in my corner. In fact, I might even be in his corner once in a while. Wrestling number 2 has come back. I understand Ray Candy's back. Tony Atlas is around. There's a lot of people that I can call on, but once again, everybody seems to be kind of busy. You know, they've got their own things to worry about. Stan Hansen's got his problems, and Tommy Rich, of course, a great Georgia heavyweight champion. He's got his problems. So there's one guy that was available that I could get, and there's nothing like having your own flesh and blood come back home. There's nothing like having your own brother, and that's who I got in my corner. I got Gene Anderson coming back, and I think Gene Anderson and Ole Anderson back together again. The Minnesota Wrecking Crew, you put us against anybody. You put us against Ladd, you put us against Shaft, you put us against Superstar, Carl Cox, Bobby Heenan, throw in a bunch, because like this is the way it is. In order to beat Andersons, there's nothing to it. I used to say it all the time. You can beat Anderson just like that, I guess. But now, you got to beat not only Andersons, but you got to beat everybody in the whole damn state of Georgia, and ain't no way to do it.
All right. Thank you, Ole. A fired up Ole Anderson, and rightfully so. That's our ringside. Let's go back to Gordon Soley.
Thank you very much. In just a couple of moments, we have a very, very special handicap match coming up with a superstar against 2 opponents. And right now, a special word of interest to all wrestling fans. Georgia Championship Wrestling presents Triple Main Event Wrestling this coming Friday night in Atlanta at the Atlanta City Auditorium. Match time is 8:30 p.m. Gene Anderson returns to Georgia to team up with Ole Anderson to take on Ernie the Cat Lad and Tom Shaft in a Texas Tornado match where all 4 men will be in the ring at the same time. And then in a title versus title match, it will be Tommy Rich, the Georgia Heavyweight Champion, going after Killer Carl Cox, the Georgia Television Champion. And to make sure that Bobby Heenan does not interfere in the match, he will be handcuffed at ringside to Ole Anderson. Then hold versus hold. Stan the Lariat Hansen takes on the Superstar, the master of the Cobra hold. Austin Idol and Dynamite Jaggers wrestle against the sensational team of Rick Fields and Buzz Sawyer. Other great matches will include such stars as Mr. Wrestling number 2 and Ray Candy. Tickets on sale at the Sports Arena. Remember, Friday night, the Superstar against Stan Hansen, hold versus hold. Then Killer Carl Cox.
A special handicap match, 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, weighing in at 287 pounds, the Superstar. The Superstar with his manager, Pretty Boy, Bobby Heenan. Superstar will be taking on these 2 men.
2 opponents going up against the Superstar now. The 2 will have to observe Australian tag team rules. Jimmy Johnson in the ring now against the Superstar. Johnson moves up, caught by the Superstar. Going off those ropes and watching his man carefully. The Superstar overhooking, taking him to the canvas. I said, of course, Johnson and his tag team partner, Jack Brown. Brown makes the tag now. Brown moves in and very quickly taken to the canvas in a hip lock takedown. The Superstar continues to exert pressure. Again, the Superstar overhooking the head. Johnson makes the tag. Brown moves out. Collar and elbow, and again a takedown by the Superstar on Johnson. Front chancery by the Superstar. I'd like to point out that Bruce Bannister, the mayor of the city of East Point, has proclaimed December as MISD Hip Month in East Point. Fulton County has also announced that December is a Missed Hip Month. And so is the Clayton County Commission. The purpose of the MISD HIT program is to provide citizens with information of the action and introduction of medication and alcohol to their health and safety in driving. MISD Foundation, of course, the Muscular Injury and Skeletal Disease Foundation, a national nonprofit organization. Brown now has the Superstar with a full-arm drag and twist, but the Superstar moves in quickly, front chancery into a takedown. He uses that hold consistently, that front chancery into a lateral type drop. A headbutt there under Brown, who makes the tag with Johnson. Johnson moving back in. Superstar with a boot to the midsection. Catches him. Mind you now, the Superstar, although caught him coming off the ropes. Plants the Cobra. He has that Cobra hold. Brown trying to break it up. And